So welcome everyone to our session where we'll discuss, started discussing about Python. We already cover all the setup and installation. Now we will start with Python. So this is our reference book, Python Crash Course book, and we'll start with today chapter 1. Tomorrow we'll cover chapter 2. So every day you can see Saturday, Sunday, we already give this what we will cover. So, and we advise you to go through each chapter before the session. Let me also recap this one. We haven't actually covered Google Colab here, but last year we covered it. So if you have time, please watch this recording. Also, customizing profile, we haven't discovered it, but if you have time, please watch this recording to make sure you set up stuff. Now, what we can do is, if you can go over here, everyone, I'll go here and clone your repository. This is our Arewa Python program fellowship. I want to show you something that you will actually be using it from now on. So come here, click here, clone this repository. We already show you how to clone repository, right? And then you can clone it maybe through terminal that you are familiar with. Clear. Or you can use VS Code to clone the repository. We already show you how to use VS Code, right? So come here. No, is it here? Yeah, come here, command palette, right? Type git. We already showed this and paste this link, right? So when we paste this link, and just excuse me, let me think if I made many changes. Let me push something. Okay. Okay, push. Okay, everything is okay, up to date. All right. So when you come here, command palette, git clone, type this link that I copy from here. Can you see that? Copy from here. This is an alternative way to clone repository. Remember, we show you how to do this from terminal git. We say, okay, we use git clone. Remember this? I type this and just type enter, right? This is still the same thing. But if you are not comfortable with terminal, you can do this. Command palette, then git clone. You can see git, then type the repository and type enter. The moment you type enter, it will ask you where you want to save it in your computer. So maybe you are not seeing, but from my own end, it prompts me something that I should select where I want to save the computer stuff that I'm cloning. Then you select and say, oh, maybe let me share the whole screen so that you can see what I'm saying. Let me share my whole screen. Okay, right. So this one, command palette, right? And then git colon, then type this one, right? Then you type enter. So it will show you where do you want to save. Maybe I can say repository git something like this, and then say select as repository destination, and I can say clone. Can you see that, right? Then when you wait a bit, it will ask you open a new window because I already have another window. Then they say, yes, open a new window, for example. Then you say, okay, open a new window. So now what I clone now, you can see it, I open it here. So can we all try to clone our repository here and have something similar to what I did? Can we try to do that? Or, but if you already have that, that's totally fine. We want to share you some stuff, how you can work with your VS Code and your GitHub repository. Right. If you already clone your repository, you can actually go to here. For example, if you use terminal, you can go to file, open. Can you see that? Open folder, and you go to where you save where you save it when you already use Google clone and save it. So this is where we are. If you have any question, please type in this chat as we go. Even if I'm moving faster, please write in the chat so that I will slow down. If this is okay, everyone understand, type yes, please. Any question? Okay, so already covered this one previously, so I'm just going over it. Yeah, okay, too fast, so I will slow down. But I do believe everyone has clone. If you have this thing, Cloning. Okay, so this cloning is what we did last week. If you are not here last week, you may be confused, but this is what we did last week, how to clone repository. So this is our repository, right? And we want to clone it, meaning we want to bring it into our local computer, into our machine, because this is something on internet. So for us to do that, that's where we say, okay, you need to go here, command palette, and type git, right? When you type git, you say git clone and you put your the link you, and then you say, okay, clone from the URL. Can you see clone from URL? Then you just click and it asks you where you want to save it. I say you select the right location, and then you say select as repository. So when you open, it will ask you, let me go over command palette, clone repository. I say yes, clone from URL. Okay, and ask me where do I want to save. I say git clone in this repository, and then select as repository. Because I've already cloned it, can you see that? So the next one that I clone now, it give it 1. So if I clone another one, it give it 2 because I have multiple versions. So I'll say select a repository destination. When I select repository destination, it will now ask me 2 things. Do you want to open the file that you recently cloned, or you want to add it on the existing repository, right? Yeah, you can use PyCharm or whatsoever you like, anything you want. So let's go on. If we already open that, so if you open this already, you clone this, you have access to these files. But as I said, if you already clone your, yes.
Please, can you come back a little bit because you are a little bit past.
I'm a little bit fast.
Yes, sir.
What is that you don't understand specifically?
So from selecting, from cloning, from clicking the command palette and cloning the repository, I just so that you move so fast that I couldn't
So
get to grab what
you attend
did.
the lesson yesterday last week? Do you attend the lesson last week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So go here, command palette. This is it, command palette. Then git colon, type git. We have this git colon, git colon. Can you see that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So git colon. Then we paste the link here. When we paste the link, we will see some English here, clone from URL. Then we select clone from URL. When you select clone from URL, it will open your desktop and select where you want to save. Then select where you want to save. And after you save it, it says select from destination. Then it will prompt you, where do you want to open it? Then you can see it prompt me that, do I want to open it? Then I say open a new window, right? When you say, when I say open it, it means it will open it it will add it on this, on this environment. Then you will have this folder too. So when I say open in new environment, it will open only. So let me do 2 things. The first one, open it. When I say open it, you can see I have it here, right? I have it here. So just open it. It's okay. I will come over to other stuff. So open it, you will have something like this. So can you confirm everyone has, can I drop URL in the chat? Don't you know our RODS GitHub repository? You don't have access to that? Okay. So that's the first one. If you already clone your repository, not using VS Code, I said you can go to File, Open Folder, and you can select the old folder. For example, if this is a folder, I say open this folder, and then it can open your folder. So here you can see it open soon. So you can do any one you like. Okay, so let's go over. So if you clone this repository, you can click here. We have README, right? So this is README on our this README on our GitHub repository. You can see this README file is the one that is showing everything here. This README. So when you come here, can you see this README? When you open it, you can see this is Markdown, right? This is Markdown. It's not something like good to read. So right click on it. Remember last time we installed instantiation called Markdown. Oh, right click on it, and click open with, right click open with, then select what you want to open it with. Is it built-in Markdown preview? So I have what you call built-in Markdown preview that comes with VS Code, or you can open it with any of the other. So when I click here, so it will open my Markdown so that I can read it the same way I'm reading it on GitHub. Can you see that? So you can see I'm reading it, So when you clone this now, it means you can read it the same way you are reading online. But before you do that, when you click first, it is just markdown. You remember this is what we call markdown, and it may not be good for you to visualize and read, right? No, you don't need to clone it again if you already clone. I'm just going over. If you already clone, you don't need to be clone. So you right click on this and select open with and select the editor you want. So I can say open with, markdown preview or any preview you have. So you can see I open this one. Right. Do we do all that? So that's how you can open your markdown document on VS Code.
Sir, can you go back a little bit, sir?
Come back for what?
Opening the markdown, or opening the README.
Okay, this is a README. Right click. Do you know what is called right click?
Yes, sir, of course.
Okay, when you do right click, can you see open with?
Yes, sir, sure.
Yes,
sir.
So when you click open with, then it is asking you select what kind of editor you want to open with. Then you can select Markdown Preview. When you say Markdown Preview, it allows you to do this. Does that make sense?
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. That's the first thing. So when you clone this, we have seen now this, right? Now, another thing is I have the book here called Python Crash Course book, right? Can you click on it? Can you be able to see PDF version of it in your VS Code? So you don't need to open it. You can read VS Code, the PDF on your VS Code. Can we do all that? Can we see that? Can you confirm yes or no? Can you view PDF on your VS Code? Type yes if yes in the chat. Type yes if you can open PDF on your VS Code. And type no if it cannot be opened. Okay, so if you cannot open PDF, you can click here our extensions and you search, for example, PDF. So there are many PDF viewers in VS Code. You can install one if you don't have. So for example, I have display PDF files. So as I said, VS Code is kind of lightweight, editor that comes with many extensions. So if you cannot view PDF, it means maybe you don't have PDF, viewer in your VS Code. So for example, you can select this one, type PDF, come to extensions. Remember last week we covered what is called extensions, right? Extension in VS Code allow you to perform many capabilities because VS Code comes without all this stuff. So come to extension and type PDF, and then select extension that will allow you to view PDF document. So for example, you can select this one because this one has many, installed. So you can see it has been installed by 6 million people, right? So this kind of number of people that install extension will tell you which extension is more better. So for example, this one 6 million something people install. What about this one? You can see 100,000. So all these extension allow you different people like you can create an extension to be PDF reader. So different people create, extension. So can you see another PDF viewer, 1 million people? So it depends on anyone. All of them you can work, right? All of them, you can see another one. So, but install the first one, VS Code PDF. It allow you to view PDF on your document. So you can see here, I can click this document, I can open, PDF. Okay, yeah, so somebody says, VS Code gave me recommendation to install PDF extension. So this is excellent. So when you clone this repository, VS Code will automatically detect that there is PDF document in your repository. Then it will ask you recommend, because it sees that there is PDF, it will recommend you, hey, install PDF extension to allow. So when you install, then that's okay. All right, so now we've seen how we can open Markdown document by right-clicking and selecting Open With and select Markdown Preview, and you can read your PDF. That is the first one. We now have seen how we can read our PDF. You can see just normally you read, so you don't need to go back to your computer, open something and read. You can, as you are coding, you are reading your PDF. For example, I can say open. So one good thing is right-click on the PDF, say, and can you see something open to the side? Open to the side. Do that. Open to the side. When I open to the side, that means now I have three viewers. As I'm coding here and I'm reading my document here, I'm reading my chapter 1 here, right? Which makes it so exciting in a way. You are reading and you are coding here. You are reading something like this and you are coding like this. You are reading like this. So this is good way to divide your screens. But when you just click something, just clicking on it, it will just open, make one thing to have only one view. But if I right click and say open to the side, that will open this in one side and your document in another side, right? Okay, cool. That's just two things allow you. I just show you how to view PDF in this. So we'll keep looking at how we can learn much about BS Code. Every day we'll introduce something new that will, because there are many functionalities in BS Code that we cannot actually cover. But as we go on, every day we will show something. So now let's dive in. Go to Python lessons folder, Python lesson chapter 1. So when we go to Python lesson chapter 1, this is what I show us. We already understand BS Code, that we have many versions of, many Python editors, right? We have many Python editors, BS Code, Atom, Python, but in this course, we are using BS Code. The first thing we show us how we can clone our repository, right? Clone the repository, how we can view Markdown, and then how we can view PDF, right? But one thing I want to show you is that now you all basically clone this repository. What about tomorrow if I created lesson 3 here, chapter 3, for example, chapter 3.ipymb, chapter 3. And then I have this here, chapter 3. And then we write the content of chapter 3. Now, what happened now in your computer, you will not have chapter 3. So how can you bring in that chapter 3, that addition that I made now? So all you need is come to your terminal. Remember, this is terminal in GitHub. Come to your terminal. Okay, just wait. Come to your terminal. Because I'm inside my folder, can you see the Python programming fellowship? I'm inside my folder. Come to your folder. Now let me do this. I added chapter 3 and you don't have it. And you can see that on internet, on our GitHub repository online, if I go to Python lessons, we have only chapter 1 and chapter 2, right? But I added now chapter 3. So I want to push this chapter 3 to Git to online. I can say git add. I see this. Can you see that? It's taking longer, but it's another better way to do that. So if this is taking a bit longer, let me show you the better. Just be very careful here, very attentive. I will show you how to do alternative way to push something addition to GitHub. So I show you, you remember you can clone your repository using git clone and paste this link, right? But can't we also git push, git add, git push using VS Code? Yes, you can do that. So how can we do that? You can come to your here. Can you see this here? You can see like it shows me 1. Can we all see something 1 here? You type yes if you can see 1 here. Type yes if you can see something 1 in source control. And if you have this on your computer, source control. Do you have this thing called source control on your computer? If yes, tell me yes. If no, say type no. Do you have this thing called source control? Source control. Do you all have it? If you don't have it, say no. Source control. Okay, you guys, you all have. So click on it. You can see, because when you see one, it means it's telling me that there are changes on local machine here that I don't push to the remote. So if you come here, you'll be able to see some. Can you see this one on your computer? Can you see this in? Because, oh no, you don't have those changes. But let me just clarify. Just listen. Remember when we clone our repository, we have only chapter 1 and chapter 2, right? But now I created chapter 3. Now this chapter 3 is not available on our remote repository on GitHub. It's only available on my computer. Now, how can I make this one, push it so that it is now on here? Remember what we did on GitHub? You do git add, git add, git commit, and git push, right? But I don't want to do that. I want to use BS code. So when you click here, you will see something is telling me like, chapter 3, where it's telling me you have changes here in chapter 3. Now I say, okay, let me push it. So I say, okay, I put my changes, added changes. Can you see that? Then you say, so you have something like this. You can see view changes, changes, and view changes, and this one, you can say git commit. Can you say, and say step change, sync changes? When you say sync changes, the same thing that you do on the terminal, git add, git commit, git push, now it push this change. You can see no longer one. So when we go back to our repository, you can see here it's not here, but when I refresh this one, let's see something amazing. Can you see chapter 3 is here? Can you see chapter 3 is here?
Yes, sir.
This is alternative way to push.
I can see.
This is alternative way to push changes using BS code. Don't be confused with the way we have been doing. We showed you git add, git commit, git push. It's the same thing, but alternative way, which is make it super also easy. Now, let me go back and create another folder file, chapter 4, that IPYMB. So the moment I create chapter 4, can you see another one here appears here? It means saying there is something changes on local machine that is not available on GitHub. So we can see here now, even if we refresh, that there is no chapter 4 here. What can you do to push that? Click here, type your message, add chapter 4, and say commit, and say sync changes. And when you come to your repository and refresh, oh, yeah, of course, we have our chapter 4 here. So what I want to tell you here is that this is a simpler way to push your changes to remote repository. But what about you now, you guys, that you have already cloned our repository only with chapter 1 and chapter 2? How can you make sure that now you have chapter 3 and chapter 4? What you need to do, you may see something here as well, but it's something that you need to do is called pull. So let me go over here to show you how the pull, git pull may work. So let me make some changes here on git on 3.0. Let me just make some changes here and commit so that I will show you how to make. All right. So you can see now I have some changes here. I don't want this one. So when I come to my repository, this one here, you can see if I come here, okay. Okay, you don't have, you guys don't be confused. I have too many stuff. So I have this. Oh, no, what? Okay, let me bring this one here, and let me actually hide this one. Let me hide this one as well so that it doesn't confuse you guys. Okay, so I have this. Okay, so this is something that you see. So if you see here, I have some changes here on my GitHub repository. Now, when I come here and I can say git status, it's saying nothing to commit, right? But what about these changes here? Okay, let me add something. Changes, git commit. So I have changes here. Git status. It's showing me nothing. There is no changes, but we have changes, of course. So what I want to tell you, maybe it's taking time for me to show that there is changes. What you need to do in your terminal is just say git pull. When you say git pull and put enter, oh, it showed me there is no changes. But you see, when I do git pull, it shows me it fetch something from the remote, from the GitHub. So when I come to my terminal, my readme, you can see this dot 3, 1, 2, 3 is now make changes. You can see that. So for you now, you can go to your terminal and type git pull. And when you do git pull, you'll be able to see the Python 3 and 4, everything is updated.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
When I want to commit this new chapter 3, it's telling me make sure you configure your username and user email in Git.
So were you here when we taught how we can set up a Git username and Git email? Were you here?
Oh,
So
I
you
missed.
you missed some of our session. We taught everything how to configure your username. So you need to go back and watch the recordings or what you missed so that you have. And mind you, this is my repository. So a repository that I own, so I can directly push. So if you create chapter 3, chapter 4 now on push, you will not be able to push it to my repository. But I just show you now how to. So what you can do now, only one thing, just the repository that you clone, just do git pull and all the changes, you will see it here. But
thank you, sir.
Let me go over to what we can do now today. Python. I want to show us the first thing is how we can create a Python version. So what is Python version? Python version, allow you to know which kind of Python you are working on. If we open our terminal, we can see terminal. You can see terminal. You can click here. It opens this terminal, right? Then we can type Python like this. Python. What's the meaning of this? Sorry. We can type Python version like this. And let me make this bigger. And when we type Python version, we'll be able to see what kind of Python version we are working on. The reason why we want to know is that previously there is what we call Python version 2, and Python version 2 has been now no longer been in use. So you cannot use Python version 2 to work on anything. So if you have Python version 3, this 3 means the main version. Dot 3 means the what we call the version number, because there is update. You can have Python by 3.10.1, 3.11. So it's just the version you have. So don't bother about if you have Python 3.12 or so, provided it's Python 3, that is you are okay. And this is in terminal. You can see in our terminal, but what about if you want to see the Python version, but in Jupyter Notebook? So if I look at this, when I just type this, you can see it will show me an error. Python is not defined. So if you want to show Python version in your terminal, in your notebook, you need to put this sign. And when you do this, then it will show you the Python version you have. So this is how you can check Python version. An alternative way also to check Python version, which is not necessary for you to understand fully, is to do what we call import sys and print the version here, Python version. It will also show you. This is just alternative way to show you how you can see the version in your Python. That is Python version. Then the next thing is, how can we run Python code? So for us to run Python code, for us to run Python code, there are many ways. The first one is Python interpreter. What does this mean, Python interpreter? So if you go to your terminal, let me go to my terminal. Let me clear here. If you go to our terminal, this is called terminal here. Now, If you want to run Python, you can type only like this, Python, only Python in your terminal. When you type Python, not Python version, Python, and type enter.
Sir, please, I'm sorry, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I don't know whether it is from my own side, but my terminal on my VS Code, it is not showing this forward arrow. I don't know whether I missed something to click something.
What is it showing?
On my own, this thing, it is just showing documents, blah, blah, blah. It's not showing this forward arrow.
Okay, right. So it's supposed to show this forward arrow. Maybe you have some setup, it's not right. If you can see this forward arrow, type in the chat. If you can see in your terminal, type in the chat, say yes. Type in the chat if you can see this forward arrow. Okay, so some people can see it, some people cannot see it. Yeah. So I don't know what happened in the installation. Maybe we have some issue, something like that. Okay, so what we can do, I don't know now, and I cannot help you to do that. Okay, so what we can do is go to terminal here. You can see terminal. Click on terminal. When you click on terminal, you'll be able to see this one arrow here, one arrow. When you have one arrow, yeah, rectangular block is also okay, I think. Yeah, so you just type Python. When you type, oh no, type Python. Yes, type Python. When you type Python, type enter. You will be able to see this. That means Python is installed and recognized on your computer. Now, type 1+1 and type enter. Type 1+1 and type enter. Maybe we can see what we can do to help you to solve your problem. But let's continue. Maybe after the session, we can see what we can do. Type 1+1 is 2. 2 + 4, 5, 6, right? Now, if you can see these things and it shows you, then you are now be able to run Python code, which is good. If you cannot see the result, it means your Python installation has some issues. I can say print hello world. Type this, print hello world. Type this and see, and type enter. Type enter. You can see you have this. Then if you can do this, that means you can run Python and your installation is good. We can just get started. Yeah, somebody is asking whether to use Jupyter Notebook or whatsoever. We are using Python VS Code, and we encourage everyone to use VS Code. If you're happy with your Jupyter Notebook, fine, you can continue. Yeah. If you can see, type print hello. Let me type in the chat. Type print hello, and if everything works fine, type yes. If no, type no. Cool. Now, that means if you can do this, then you have now run your first Python program. So this is what we call Python interpreter. When you want exit, you type exit, just like you can exit. Normal keyword for English, exit, type enter. You now go out from Python interpreter. Now, when you type 1+1, this one will give you an error because you are not inside Python. You are not inside Python because Python is a language that can allow you to do addition 1+1. That is why when you type Python, you are telling the command prompt, hey, open Python interpreter for me. I want to do anything concerning Python. When you type enter, yes, when you see this thing, it is telling you you are now in Python environment and you can do anything concerning Python. And I can say 1 + 1, it will give me 2. I can say 4 + 6, 4 minus 2, it give me 2. Yes, we are running Python. If you want to go outside, you can type exit and type all this bracket and type enter. Can you see that? When we type enter, remember when I type, for example, now I'm outside, clear. Clear means it to clear this screen so that I'm delete these ones. When I type 1 + 1, which now I'm not inside Python, I'm only inside terminal, right? Inside terminal. And when you type 1 + 1, it will give you error. You are not inside Python. You are not inside Python. Just mind you, it will not give you. Now, this environment, when you type Python and you type enter, when you see this thing, you are now what we call Python interpreter. This environment is called Python interpreter, meaning Python can interpret whatsoever you write. And type exit, and use this open and close. Make sure I use open and close. Yeah, exit. This will close the Python interpreter. Type enter. Now you are back into your terminal. That is what we call Python interpreter. So you can run Python in Python interpreter. And this is example I gave. But there is another one called IPython. IPython. Type I, then Python in X. IPython. This one. IPython. Type IPython and see what will happen. IPython. When I type IPython and type and oh, the IPython is small I. Yes, it's small I. IPython. So now I enter into another IPython. When I say 1 + 1, it gives me 2. Right? When I say 3 + 4, it gives me 7. Who can tell me the difference between IPython and the previous Python interpreter? Who can show or tell us the difference?
The IPython shows you what you actually see in, and then it shows you the result. Why in the normal interpreter, it just gives you the result automatically.
Yes, exactly. So IPython is a kind of enhanced version, an enhanced Python interpreter, which allow you to basically see the output. For example, we can see here, we are seeing the input and output, right? I can say print hello, print hello world, right? And type enter. You can see this is your input, this is our output, right? So this is actually, because this is a print, that is why it doesn't show you this. These are two things for you to just know. Yeah, yes, IPython is kind of Jupyter version interpreter, something like that. So, but just to let you know, different ways you can run Python. So the first one we have seen, you can run using Python interpreter. The second one we have seen, you can run using IPython interpreter. But then this next one, so here also, if you want to exit, you write exit and type this, and you are back. Whoop. So now we have seen how we can run Python, but the next one is how can you run Python, what we call self-contained Python scripts. What do we mean if we say Python script? Who can tell me? Write in the chat if you know when we say Python scripts. What do we mean by script in a shell? What do we mean by script? Who can tell us?
So it means what is in the bracket entirely.
What is in the bracket? No.
Just the content that is with apostrophe.
No. Who can tell us what is
a document containing Python codes?
It means some script, the code, some character that the Python recognize.
So it means that, it means a programmer to write everything before he run the code.
It's some character.
So it means the command that you ask the Python to run for you is the script.
Okay, so everyone is tried. Let me tell you what is script. So in Python or in programming, a script, yeah, the code Python recognize. Yeah, this somebody give us something, a script, something the code. So let me tell you, run Python script. So you can see this. I have a file called test.py, right? Test.py. When we have a file with the py extension, what is that thing? What kind of file is that? When we have a file with the
Python
Python
file. It's a Python file, sir.
It's a Python file, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So Python, when you have Python with when you have any file with .py, it means this is a Python file. Now, this file that you have some stuff is called script. So in programming, when you have .py Python file with anything is called script. So let's look at let's ask ChatGPT. Not ChatGPT. What is script? So let me see that. You can see in computer programming, a script is a script, a sequence of instructions that is interpreted or carried out by another program. Can you use that? A script is a sequence of instruction that is interpreted by another program. So that means a script. This is sequence of instruction. Can you see that? 1 plus print hello, print 1 plus 1. Maybe I can have another instruction, something like this. No. I can have another instruction, for example. I can say print 3 plus 6, 3 minus 6 minus 5, for example. So you can see when you have sequence of instructions inside a file and it's run or interpreted by programming language, that is called script. So this file is Python script. Can you see the language? This file is a Python script. But if this is like a C++, for example, this is like CPP, then I can say this is a C++ script. It's a script, C++ script. So what we mean by script is just a sequence of instructions, as I show you here, in computer programming, a script is a program or sequence of instructions that is interpreted or carried out by a program rather than the computer. So when you have this sequence of instructions, how can we run it? So there are many ways to run a script. The first way, right-click on this script, right-click. We all know what is right-click, I believe, right? Right-click like this. When you right-click, you can say run file in terminal. Can you see this? Can you see all my script? Run Python file in terminal. Then you go over. Right-click, then run Python file in terminal and run it and see what we'll be able to see. When we run this script, what we'll be able to see is that we will see the result that we So you can see our result. Hello world, 3 and -1, right? You can see what the script is doing is printing hello world and is printing 1 plus 1 and is printing 3 minus 1, right? So when you go here and select this, run in the terminal, what you will happen to see is that you can print the output in the terminal. This is just what is called script. But you can also, if it is a script, because this is a script, you will be able to see some kind of here. Can you see run Python file here? Can you see that run Python file?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when you click this run Python file, it will just run it without right-clicking and run. So a shortcut is just to click this guy. Just click this guy, run Python file. You will be able to, it runs. All right. If you are confused, yeah, you can be confused, but we'll get a point where you understand. But this is just introduction. We are just showing you can run Python file in different ways, right? You can run Python file in different ways. That's what we are saying. The first one we said, You can run Python in interpreter. Let me go over. For you to run Python in interpreter, you can just type Python, and then this is IPython, and you can use your this 1+1 and whatsoever. Now this is Python IPython, but I said you can also run Python in Python interpreter, where you can just type Python 1+1. Here you are running in Python interpreter, right? I can exit showing this. But then we said, okay, you can also run Python in what we call you can also run using scripts. So for you to run a script, it's just to right click all that. But you can also run a script in another way. How can you do that? So you can see here, I show us two ways. You click here, right click and say run in terminal, right? Run in terminal, and you see result. Or you can just click this one and just write in terminal, and you see it. I have shown you two ways. But there is another way to run Python script. The way is this: you type Python, and then you name the file. You click the name of the file, put the name of the file. So you can see I put type Python and the name of the file, Python name of the file, and just type enter. Right? Okay. But you can see here it's showing me Python can't recognize the file. Because I'm not inside the folder, you must be inside the folder where the file is so that it will be able to run. So this means that I need to come inside this Python lessons because the Python script is there. So how can I go into the folder? I'm inside Python Programming Fellowship. Yes, Python Programming Fellowship, which is the main folder. So if I want to go to inside this, I can use CD. Remember our CD, right? CD, Python lessons, Python lesson, right? So now I'm inside Python lesson. Then I can say, run this Python file, test.py. Because now I'm inside the same folder with that file, it will run. Let me show you. So you can see it show me hello world 3. So the point I want to tell you that for you to run Python file using this, you must be inside the same folder where the file you are running is for it to run.
No, sir.
Sir,
yes.
Sir, if I understand your point, sir, it
was
seems...
Wait, please. Wait, please. If you want to ask question, raise up your hand.
I've raised my answer.
Okay, Abdullahi, go on and ask question.
Yeah, I said using the IPython, I was actually trying to run it directly on my system, showing me some error. Am I supposed to install it, or it's actually come directly with Python 3?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think you need to, I'm not sure, I forgot. I don't know. I actually forgot. Install.
Yes, sir. I actually faced a similar issue. I had to run an extension of it.
Yeah, so you can run IPython like this. Yeah. So you can run it using pip, for example, IPython. But don't bother. We are not going to use any IPython. It's just to show you when you see it somewhere else. What we are going to use is Jupyter Notebook, and I will show us Jupyter Notebook. Don't bother about IPython. We are not going to use it anyway. But just for you to know that there is something called IPython. Okay. Yes. Williams. Mujahid, go on.
Sir, I said from what you just did now in the terminal of this VS Code, it seems this is the essence of us like learning how to do it in our normal Windows command line prompt.
Exactly. Yes.
Even with this CD and what have you.
Yes, exactly. So that's why we cover it before we come here.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Yes. All right. Then let's go on to the final part. So we have seen how we can run Python using interpreter, using IPython, and using Python, IPython script. Then the last one is Jupyter Notebook. So this is what we will be using, mostly using Jupyter Notebook. So Jupyter Notebook is a kind of way that allow you to run Python script, and also, it has many support. It has very few key features. For example, interactive coding, rich support, data visual, multiple language. For example, you cannot do visualization in terminal. We cannot visualize here. You cannot see visualization in terminal. But in Jupyter Notebook, you'll be able to see, for example, visualization. You can see this. You can do your analysis. You can do everything in Jupyter Notebook. That is why we'll be using Jupyter Notebook. So now you can run Python using, for example, number one, IPython, Python interpreter, IPython, except Python, but the last one is Jupyter Notebook. So how can you, run Python file in Jupyter Notebook? For you to run Python file in Jupyter Notebook is to create Jupyter Notebook first. Let's see how we can create a Jupyter Notebook. You come to your folder and can then click new. You can see this is new. I can say notebook example. So notebook, then you can say .ipymb. So this is ipymb is called Jupyter Notebook. It's called Jupyter Notebook. This ipymb is called Jupyter Notebook. So somebody and then who is trying to annotate our stuff? Let me make it, no one will be able to do that. Please stop writing on our screen, please. So you can see I create notebook here, right? After you create your notebook, you can be able to work on it. So when you create a notebook, you can write Python code. So for you to write Python code, you click here, you can see something called add code cell. So when I say add code cell, you can write Python. And then here you can see here, you need to select what are you going to run. So we want to run Python. So I select Python here. And then you can select the kernel here. Last week, remember, we do kernel, and then you can select what you want to select, whether Python base, you can select. And then I can type 1+1. When you type 1+1, if here is Python, you can type here. So you can see you have 2. So you can see now we have Python in Jupyter Notebook. You can have this print hello. Wow. And you run it here. You click this one to run. So you can see now you run. This is what is called Python.
Hello,
yes.
Hello, please, doctor, can you go back a little bit?
Right.
I'm missing.
Yeah. So what we said is we have seen now how we can run Python in different ways, right? The first one is using Python interpreter. Second one is IPython. Third one is how to run Python software. But the last one, which we'll be using, is Jupyter Notebook. So Jupyter Notebook is what we'll be using to do all our learning, and because it has many advantages, which we will see as soon as possible. Now, how can you create Jupyter Notebook? For you to create Jupyter Notebook, there are many ways. For example, I say if you have this one here, new file, you can say new file, you can say notebook, you can create a notebook and say .ipymb, right? Just like if you want to create a Python file, you just say Python, for example, file, and you say .py. This means is Python file, right? Script. This is a script. Therefore, this is a script. Remember, we said this is a script. This is a script, right? But when you have the notebook, this is Jupyter Notebook. It's not a script. It's notebook. So just mind the names, other stuff. But you can also create your notebook. For example, if you go to command palette, you can say not Jupyter. You just type Jupyter. You can see Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter. You can say create new interactive. You create new Jupyter notebook. You can see many options. So yeah, Jupyter Notebook. Create, for example, you can see create new Jupyter Notebook. So you can do that as well to create new Jupyter Notebook. All right, so you can see now I create a new Jupyter Notebook. But the very easiest way is just to click here, name the file you want to create, and you type IPYMB, something like that. So now here we have a Jupyter Notebook. Now, how can you run a Python script inside this Jupyter Notebook? For you to run, we have seen now how to create a Jupyter Notebook, right? We have seen how we can create a Jupyter Notebook. If you want to, let me click this one. We have seen how to create a Jupyter Notebook, right? Now I create Jupyter Notebook. Now, if I want to run Python file, I need to click here, code. But if I want to create Markdown, for example, this one, this is Jupyter Notebook. But the first thing I do here is I write something using Markdown. Remember, we already taught you how to do Markdown. So you can create here Markdown and then type this one. You say, this is, let me say, RODS training. And then when I do this, you have this. So you can see you have this, right? We already show you how to do this in a notebook and Markdown. So I can type, this is a training notebook for RODS or something like that, right? And then I can type this. You can see all this English. So you can see the way we do it here. This is how we do. So this is very good why we said why notebook is Jupyter Notebook is important, because it allows you to combine text to do explanation. For example, let's assume you are teaching people. You can write something here and can now, you can type your Python code. If it is Python code, you now create code. This is called cells in Jupyter Notebook. This where you run code is called notebook, is called a cell. And make sure you select Python here. Yeah, because you can run multiple steps here, you can select Python, and when you type enter, then you have your output. So this is what we said here. We're going to cover, for example, code cells for writing and running code. This is called code cell. This thing. So you can see here it said create code cell. So here you have another code cell. I have code cell. I have another one. If you want to run something, you type inside. You can type inside everything you like, and you can run it like this. You can see you run it. I can say print like this. Print, this is Python command, print this, and we have this. You can have this open, and then you can run it. Now we have many other things here, but don't bother about this. You can click here. You can see you run this. This is how, yes.
So I think we had a similar problem last week that you said you will talk to us about it, and I think you forgot about it. In terms of like selecting that kernel, we select the kernel and the output was not showing. That is the result of the Python code. Last week you said after the class you'll discuss about it, but I think you forgot.
Okay. Your own is not showing, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I forgot it. So we can have discussion. Oh, it's already, we have 8 minutes on top of the hour, right?
Yes,
okay.
even means I want to see how to go about selecting on that kernel stuff you have made.
Okay. So maybe we can
of mine.
Okay, yeah, I understand. So I already asked you guys, we have office hour or RODS clinic to attend, but the first day we have only 1 person or 2-3 person that attend. I felt like everyone setup is okay. So that's why we didn't even have another office hour, because we asked you guys if anyone has an issue, should come to the clinic or office hour so that we can attend your problem. But when we went there, people, you guys, you didn't join, only 2 people, I think, or 3, and we saw their problem, and then we said, okay, maybe everyone has, you don't have any issues. That's why we didn't hold the office hour. So what we can do now, we cannot fix the issue now. Maybe when we can do office hour today or tomorrow, then you can share your screen and we can walk you through how to fix this problem.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So this is how to do that, and then that's called a cell. The output. Okay, yeah. So this is what you call a cell, and when you type, everything will come out below when you type this. Let me show you. There is also what we call Markdown. So if you want to write Markdown, you click this one. You click this one and type it. This is Markdown. So this means you are not running Python. You are running Markdown. So you can see this one is Markdown. This is just English. So it's not that one. That is called Markdown. And we already know Markdown. You can do Markdown to do multiple stuff. We can write, subheadings. This is down. I do listing, list something. This is it, list, right? And because this is Markdown, remember this here is Markdown, and we can do everything we want to do with Markdown. So when you click here, you can see you have a list. So we already cover how to do Markdown. If you just joining us and you don't know what this is, refer back to our recordings. We are just showing it here. We cover all this stuff. When we go back to add new cells, click here to change the cell type. So we already show how to create a new cell. Click here to create a new cell. But you can change. You can see here it automatically show me Python. But if I don't want to write Python, but I want to do Markdown, you can click here and change it to Markdown. So you can see now it changes to Markdown, and you can write something like this. And then when you type something like this, you did. But the problem is when you type this and it show you Python and you write something Markdown inside it, something written, when you run it, it will show you an error, because this cell is not meant for writing. It meant for Python. So when you write, this is Markdown, and run it, it will show you an error, because this cell is not for Markdown. it meant for Python script, right? So because it's meant for Python script, when you type 1 + 1, this is Python script, 1 + 1, and you write enter, it will work. So each of these has its own purpose. Python, when you see Python, it contains Python script. When you see Markdown, it contains Python, it contains Markdown. So that's another thing. Add new cell, change the cell type, edit a cell. So if you want to edit a cell, so you can see here, I have already have the Markdown, right? But if I want to change this listing, what you need to do is, we said, to edit a cell, double click on it. To edit a cell, double click on it. So this means that if I want to change this Markdown, I can double click on it. Can you see that? So you can, it's now, this is second list, because you just, you can do that. Double click on it to edit. When you finish, do this. Double click to edit, something like that. And then to delete a cell, click on delete. So if you want to delete a cell, maybe I want to delete this cell, Markdown, because I told you this entire thing is called cell. It's called cell, right? So when I want to delete it, I can click here, delete. You can see I delete this cell, right? This is something we should. And also you can move a cell, right? I now bring it back. I do undo. You remember undo, you can bring something. When I want to, okay, I say, okay, this cell must come here, maybe the beginning. You can do like this. Click on it and drag. You can drag it. You can drag it. You can see I bring it here. You can drag it. You can take it to the last part. So you can do many things with the, You guys, you may see I have something called generate. You may not have this generate, because for me, I have GitHub Copilot. You may only have code and Markdown. You may only have code and Markdown. Code and Markdown, only two. You may not have generate. This generate, because I've already have my GitHub Copilot, and then I have generate. So I can click generate here. If you are, I can say, okay, write a step to train a machine learning model, Write a step to train a machine learning model. Because this is like, so you can see it writes something steps, Python script, you need to download the data and do all this stuff. So you don't need to see this generate. This is not necessary from your end, generate. Only you can see code and Markdown. Don't be confused, you are seeing generate. You may not have that one, right? So then this is it, and you can see this is a Python script. If one of the good things we said, if Python allow you to, Markdown allow you to, have some code, and also, so you can see you can have plot in your Markdown, Jupyter Notebook. When I run this, you can see this is plot. So this is one important thing for Jupyter Notebook, because you have like script, and you can have graphs on it and make it easier to work on this. So if you want to do data analysis, you can use Jupyter Notebook. You have your plot, everything in one document. You have the script, you have Python script, you have your English in the same document. So the purpose of Markdown or Jupyter Notebook is for you to allow to combine both Python and output and text in the same document. That is why it's good. It's used for data science. Okay, so I think this is the end of our lessons today. Unfortunately, I will not be able to take much further questions because I need to run. Somebody for me. If you have any question, please type question in the Telegram so that we can go over that. But without any other thing, what I would say is we meet tomorrow because I cannot answer any question. I need to run. Thank you very much for joining. We will upload the recording, and yeah, do have questions in the channel.